because I forgot to put the hat on, because I got so locked up with finding the perfect title for my friends on YouTube. I hemmed and hawed whether to put the lighthouse, which I have such fond memories of, at Breezy Point, Rockaway Beach, Queens, New York, or put Captain Kirk on, because I believe that somebody out there has lost his monkey mind. And that is what I truly believe. And not only do I believe that, but the great John Blaze, he believes it. And Scott Del Fuego, he believes it. And Alo de Winter, he believes it. There are multiple people that believe that there's a man making videos about Michael Thomas Fazio. And when I talk to them and I say to myself, let me think of a good question to ask all of these people, it's always the same question. Why do you believe this man flip-flops, changes his mind, and one day he loves you, and one day he's giving you advice, and another day he's talking about your ex-girlfriend, and another day he's saying he's not going to talk about anybody? So those questions, why does one day he give advice and one day he frees you from your pain? He forgives you. He forgives you. And the answer, the answer is always the same. Always the same answer. From all my intelligent friends, they say, why do you try to figure out what's on that person's mind? The guys, they believe that there is a level of consciousness where there's just nothing to figure out. That it's the point where over here you're not nuts, and over here you might be nuts. And that line, the delineation line, has been crossed. So over here, before they're not sure whether or not you're nuts, there might be reason. But over here, on this side of the line, where they get the term, he's crossed the line. He's beyond the pale. He's nuts. That's the answer. So, but as far as forgiving, now today he's forgiving, and tomorrow he will go back, and in between he will flip-flop back and forth like he did yesterday, trying to triangulate people in the same show. Okay, so in psychology, in narcissistic personality disorder, psychology, or the psychology of narcissists, there's something called triangulation. Triangulation is when you try to separate, or you use a third person to cause a problem in another person's relationship, or you try to get two people to argue with one another, and by those two people arguing, this is what happened yesterday, they will break up with one another, therefore leaving the person that is causing the irritation in the relationship an opportunity to be the only person in the third person's circle of friends or persona, leaving the person who's girlfriend or boyfriend just left them, open with a void for friendship. And then there will be a display of friendship like, I could forgive you, but if you showed a little bit more compassion towards me, which is a manipulation of the person's persona, and then if that person did show some compassion towards the narcissist could turn around and say, okay, next week I will see what I could do to help you out. But next week comes, and I thought about helping you out. I thought about letting you off the hook, but you know what? I thought about all the things that you did to me in the past, and I'm not going to let you off the hook because of the things that he believes you did to him, forgetting the things that he did to you. Now, in the case of the people that I'm talking about, there is no doubt that the person who's in detention, we have comments here already, with the help, John S. Okay, well, let me get this opened up because we have a good show. We're going to talk about the psychology of a narcissistic personality disorder / borderline psychopath type personality, and those that are on YouTube controlling weaker people, including people that want to come to the Philippines simply to meet little girls. And they will do anything. They will kiss the buttocks of anybody that's going to help that happen, which is in itself making the third party that's coming to the Philippines, I would call it low quality person, a low quality, that's not a high quality thing that you want to make public. If you want to do it privately, that's one thing, but if you make it public that you're coming to the Philippines to make arrangements with little girls on dating sites and bars, for me, I never did that, and you can go back through all my videos. I never once ever said that's what I wanted to do. I did meet a few girls on dating sites, and when I would ask them if they'd like to go out to dinner or they would like to go out for a boat ride, they would tell me, how much money are you going to give me? And then I would say, okay, well, we're done. We're done. And as soon as a girl asks you for money, you have to be done with her. There's no paying. For me, there's no paying for sex. And if you have to buy them clothes, when I would bring a girl to the ICM mall, we're going to go have lunch, and a girl would stop and say, do you mind if I look at some of the clothes? They're on sale, half price. I would say, yeah, okay. Now, this is a true story. I walk in to the ICM mall, the front entrance, probably the fourth or fifth store on the right when you walk into the ICM mall. There was a store had half price. I knew the girl for about, 7 or 8 minutes. We met on the front steps of the ICM mall. And she said, would you mind buying me that blouse? Now, the blouse might have been $10 on sale. I said, sure. So she goes, well, maybe I'll get a pair of pants with that. I said, you get whatever you want. And I said that, get whatever you want. So I leaned up against, it's right by the escalator. So I leaned up against where the escalator is, and she started picking stuff off the shelf like it was a free-for-all, a grab bag thing. And she put on that counter in about 3 minutes. She put on, well, the original shirt or blouse was 500 pesos on sale. She put about 3,000 pesos worth of clothes on the table. It might have been $75 because pesos were 40 pesos to the dollar then. Okay, so she walks, she grabs me to come over. She goes, do you like? Oh yeah, they're beautiful. Yep, that's a beautiful thing. And the girl says, but what about shoes? So she says, well, I have to get shoes too, right? I said, of course you have to get shoes. Well, this girl, she went and got a pair of shoes, and the whole price could have been 5,000 pesos, 6,000, wherever it was. It was more than $100. And the girl tells me at the register it's 6,000 pesos, 5,000 pesos. And I said, that's nice. And I walked away. So I would let them have their fun, believing that they're going to get me after 7 minutes. I met her on the front steps of the mall. After 7 minutes that I'm going to spend $100 on them. Because, like John Blaze says, and this is why it's not in the title, but it's going up in the chat. John Blaze says every man needs to have his car serviced on a regular basis. And that means a proper tune-up or oil change is what's necessary to keep your car running smooth. Now, all I ever got out of that was a hello, how are you? Would you mind if I buy this blouse? And she threw $100 worth of stuff on the counter. No oil change, no tune-up, no conversation. And this was just the beginning. I'm sure she wanted something else in the way of monetary gain. But if you think that that's normal, I would suggest that's not normal, that you have psychological problems if you can't just go out and meet a normal girl that doesn't want something from you right away. Now, even going so far as they meet you, and then they give your car an oil change and a tune-up, and then you take them shopping. To me, that's out of the question as well. That's not the kind of girl. I don't want to go out with a garage mechanic woman. But you guys, that's your thing. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more. Let me open up this window here so I could see John S.'s comments, because right now I cannot see John S.'s comments. And then we're going to talk about pain. We need our pain. We have to have our pain. It gives us memories of the way and things that happened to us in life that we learned from. Those of you who have no pain in your life have no life. If you lay back every day on your laurels and you look back at your laurels and you have no laurels, you have no accolades, no accomplishments, that's pain. To look back in your life and to realize that you had no real pain and you have no real accomplishments, that's painful. And that's why people lash out at people like... And you have no real accomplishment. That's why people lash out at people like me and try to get me triggered because of where I live. I live in the most, of all the people on YouTube, me personally, I live in a better place than anybody else that I've ever seen their place. It doesn't matter your interior of your house and if you have a big screen TV or not. I have a view of the ocean, and you don't. Remember that the next time you criticize me. See that right there? There's the ocean right there. I have a view of the ocean. If let's just say one of these people that believe themselves to be real men, and they're not, said to me, if I offered you my house you would move out of that shack in a minute. No, I would not. Why would I want to live in a swamp or a forest or a field? Why would I want to live in any of those places? Can you see the beach from a forest? No. Let's say you could see a mountain. That's not a beach. I like looking at beaches. Can you walk to the beach from the forest or the swamp? Well, the answer is maybe yes and maybe no. And if you live in a field and it's just tall grass, maybe that's your thing. But to constantly criticize Michael Thomas Fazio because he lives in a shack, that's just not cutting the mustard anymore. And this is where the triangulation comes in. He's mad at the world because his girlfriend left him, and I know that hurt his feelings. Well, you'd have to ask whose feelings were really hurt in their life. Me, when Daisy left, I will never, ever, ever disclose the reasons why we split up. But it was mutual. I said it then, and I'll say it now. However, there is one thing that I can say about Daisy May. When I came home from wherever I was, she was pretty much always here. If she wasn't here, she was next door with the twins. There was 2 babies that were she took care of. Or next door with one of the babies of the other Filipinas. But I never came home from the stores, and I never came home from work and found Daisy in bed with Sidney Portnier's cousin Leroy. That's true. Never did I come home from where I was and find a woman in bed with Sidney Portnier's cousin Leroy or any other man. That never happened. So to bring up Daisy again as some sort of a focal point to manipulate me, to get me triggered about Daisy leaving, it was a mutual agreement, but for some reason this man can't understand why we broke up, because I don't disclose the reasons why we broke up. It's none of anybody's business. I don't talk about my personal affairs with people I don't like or trust, especially people you can't trust with personal affairs. That's number one. Number two, to be perfectly honest, Daisy and I have never stopped being friends. And again, I will say this. I knew Daisy was going to date a man. I knew she was going to meet a man. She left August 8th. She met a man on November 1st. But somehow in this narcissistic personality disorder world, this guy can't get it through his head that Daisy and I broke up and 5 months passed before she dated somebody. And he believes he was the person to make everybody aware that Daisy was dating another man. Now, personally, that's not the truth. But you can't make him understand what the truth is. So, I will just once again say that no matter what the problem was between Daisy and I, no matter what reasons that we split up, I never came home from work and found Daisy in bed with Sidney Portnier's cousin Leroy. You have to believe that. Because if that ever happened, well then, you would have read about that in the paper. I wouldn't have walked out of the house and kicked the television stand. I wouldn't have slammed the door. I would not have said anything. But you would have read about it in the paper. Now, as far as triangulation, this man keeps trying to triangulate the man in detention against his girlfriend. Why? It's not happening. But every day he keeps trying to be the cause of the breakup, because he thrives. His life is pain. His life is to distribute pain. His pain is that he has nothing to be proud of. He's never done anything that he could say, look at what I did. Whereas the rest of us do have accomplishments. And then to say that, well, those are the things you did in the past. But every day, most of us are still accomplishing things. But he negates that, because in his mind, the only accomplishment that you can have is if he acknowledges the accomplishment. And he doesn't and or refuses to acknowledge the accomplishments that all of us have every day. When I go fly the drone and I make drone videos, that's a hobby. That's an accomplishment. That's something that costs a lot of money to do it, number one. And number two, it's a lot of fun. And not only that, it gets you out of the house. And when I say I can walk 2 or 3 or 4 miles without batting an eyelash, because he doesn't see me walk, it's not happening. But when I say to him, let's do this together, you and me, let's get together, let's walk out in the hot sun in the middle of the afternoon, do you hear him taking the Fazio walking challenge? No, because he can't take the Fazio walking challenge. For whatever reason, he'll have heart prostration, he'll overexert himself, he'll overheat, or he's afraid that Fazio will walk further than him and faster, and he will lose face. Well, he's lost his face a long time ago when he said that he came home from work and found his wife in bed with Sidney Poitier's cousin Leroy. That's losing face, not losing a walking contest with Michael Thomas Fazio. Now, as far as his mental stability, oh my God, he takes these little snippets of crazy things that I do all the time. That's my YouTube persona. In real life, watch when I'm interacting with people and there's conversation going back and forth, because I know how to converse with people, conversate. Nobody ever once, not one time, has ever seen him have a conversation with anybody outside the house, at a store, at a Zumba contest, at a sales, anything, at a bazaar, nothing, never happened, because he's not capable of having a conversation or conversate with anybody, because he has an inferiority complex. But I don't. I'm a very outgoing person. I don't feel the need to destroy another person's reputation every day, although today, because he did it again yesterday, talking about how painful it was that when Daisy May left me and how I would never get over it. Dude, I'm perfectly capable of getting over a woman and her leaving. And not only that, if you want to wager some really big money, say that Daisy and I still aren't friends. But you can't do that, because that's a challenge and you have no control over the outcome. But you, sir, I don't need your forgiveness. I don't need your forgiveness. I don't need your friendship. I don't need anything from you. But every day, you have this need to bring my name up on YouTube. Michael Thomas Fazio. Because inside your head, you wish that you were more like Mike. That's true. You wish that you were able to get what John Blaze calls an oil change. You wish that you had a motorcycle like Scott Del Fuego has. You wish you had a hobby. You wish you could walk to the beach without crossing, what do they call it? The river Styx. You wish all those things. You live in a place where no other normal person would want to live. You live so far away from life itself that I can't even imagine. Even if you said, I will give you my house, I will give you my money, you just live where I live, I would take a hard pass. Because nobody in their right mind would live where you live. You live where there's no chance of ever experiencing anything called life. You don't go to the beach and go swimming. You have this problem. You have that problem. You don't go out on boats. You don't travel. And if you do travel, you would only travel to another beach that looks like your beach. Well, that's part of life. You have no life. And every day you come on here and somehow it makes you feel good to talk about the man who you incarcerated. That is your big claim to fame in the last 45 years. That is your only claim to fame. But you talking about Daisy May, I asked you not to do that, and you did it anyway, because you said you would stop, but you didn't, because you can't keep your word. And you can't keep your word because you're not able to remember what you said yesterday and what you said you're going to. You said you were getting off of talking about other people, but you never did that either. See, this is inside your head. There's something that's not wired right. That's why Scott Del Fuego classifies you as an NPD type 3, and he has the psychological training to classify people as a ex-deputy commissioner, police commissioner of a big city in America. He went to the school, classifies you as an NP3D, an NPD3, and borderline psychopath. Okay? You can take that to the bank if Scott Del Fuego said it. I don't understand why you don't understand why everybody on YouTube is your enemy. And then you say, nobody likes Fazio. Well, some people do and some people don't. But it doesn't affect me like it affects you, because my life was fulfilled hundreds of times in the things I did. You have nothing ever since you were born to ever be proud of. Nothing, in my opinion. Nothing. And that it means nothing. Whatever accomplishments that you think you had, for me, they mean nothing. If you had an accomplishment that meant anything, that would mean something. I would tell you. Just like you pretend if someone has an accomplishment, you'll give them kudos, but you don't. You'd rather eliminate that part of the conversation, because that would knock you down a couple of notches. You, sir, have 10,000 comments on YouTube against you. I have 20 or 30 this week, and then I said I'm going to prove those people wrong, and when I proved them wrong, they clammed up. But I did prove them wrong. It wasn't out of hate. somebody challenged me to prove them wrong. They said, prove that I'm lying. And when I did it, they clammed up in regards to mentioning my name. They never mentioned my name again because I proved that not only were they lying, but they were lying big time. But with you, you can never see why people don't like you. And that's the part where you're over here, you're not nuts, and over here you might be nuts. Okay? NPD type 3, personality disorder, borderline psychopath. You should look that up and see if it quantifies with your personal psychology or psychopathy. Okay? You have nothing that I want. I don't need your forgiveness. I don't need your friendship. All I need for you to do is to answer the question. That's all I need for you to do. Everybody knows what the question is. We don't have to discuss the question. You know what the question is. You've avoided the question, and you're going to continue to avoid the question. Because you're afraid to answer the question one way or the other. If you answer the question in the positive, well, that's going to put a test that you may or may not be able to pass. But if you answer the question in the negative, it'll knock you down 72 notches. And all that bravado. You have to answer the question. Somebody needs to answer the question. And eventually, the question will be able to be asked you in person. It'll happen. It will happen. And then if you don't answer the question, then that will be the answer to the question. And the question is, you well know what the question is. You're afraid to answer the question, that's okay. You're afraid of the possible outcome in answering the question in either direction, that's all. Just say that you can't handle the answer or the pain that it would take to answer. And I will forgive you your pain, because I'm going to tell you something. By answering the question one way or the other, you are going to experience psychological pain. Because in your mind, that's everything. That would suck up the ego. That would suck up your persona. Answer the question. Remember Tom Cruise said, answer the question. Answer the question. Answer the question. And then Jack Nicholson lost his mind and he answered the question. That will be you answering the question, losing your mind, and then losing the battle, the spiritual battle, because you can't handle the truth. You have nothing to be proud of. You have nothing in your past that quantifies that you could be more like Michael Fazio, a real man. I don't care about anything that you say you're going to do or you're potentially going to do. None of that matters to me. All I want you to do is answer the darn question. Let me go to the comments now. I think my soliloquy is almost over. John S., with the help of Michael Fazio. Let's turn this around. Calamance's in the house. With the help of Michael Fazio, Allo, John Blaze, they will continue the voyages we have begun and journey to the undiscovered countries, boldly going where no one has gone before. Well, thank you, John S. And that's an orange logo. Scott Del Fuego says, I see the pain behind your eyes, Michael, wait, that isn't pain. It is desire for violent retribution. Or is it acid reflux from the calamansi? Scott Del Fuego, wordsmithing. Steve, 25901. Ahoy, Michael, Scott and John. Thanks for stopping by. Steve, Scott Del Fuego. Hello, Steve. Welcome to the machine. John S. Hey, Steve, Scott, everyone. Scott Del Fuego. Hello, John S. Mayan Buntag. Bye-bye, baby. Okay, so it's Scott Del Fuego. Michael Thomas Fazio. I am laughing with you, not at you. Look, I put on some of the best shows on YouTube. And when I say something is true, it's true. Squillum, I need to know more of this Fazio lore. Thanks for stopping by, Squillum. A little more lore coming right up. Calamansi, when the apex of your life is remembering how fast you were able to remove diarrhea from a public bathroom, it may be it may be a failed existence. So let's get back. Look, dude, I don't need your forgiveness. I don't need your forgiveness. I don't know why you believe I need your forgiveness. I don't care about it. You know, I've heard stories that what I did to you. Do you remember what it was that you did to get you into the legal system to begin with? What you said, and then you got away on a technicality? You, again, you have to be reminded that it was you who started the entire ball of wax. It was you who made up a song. It was you who called a woman mudflaps. It was you who did that. It was you who threatened the very man that's in detention now. Day after day after day after day after day, month after month, month after month, hundreds of times a day, sometimes in various videos, 3, 4, 5, 6 videos a day, to trigger him. Because in your mind, pain, inflicting pain on anybody is a plus. Well, you can't do that to me. You have tried to trigger me to get me to say things that are illegal. It ain't going to happen. You have tried to trigger me to get you to believe that somebody threatened you. That's not going to happen. You are a psychological mess, in my opinion. You are the one that came home from work and your wife was in bed with Sidney Portnier's cousin. And every time you mention Daisy May, I'm going to look back on those fond memories of a video you made a long, long time ago, telling everybody that that's what happened to you. That is pain. Daisy never did anything like that. Daisy never did anything like that. Daisy never did anything like that. If me and Daisy had an argument, we had an argument. Did I ever make any of those arguments public? No. But you have. You have made every argument that you've ever had with anybody on YouTube public. You also, if you remember what you said about Warren and I, you just wait until the time comes where I ask you that directly. And if you have an answer, you should prepare for that question, because that's going to happen. Now, what your answer is, maybe if we're lucky, you'll answer the question and we'll have an answer to the question. And that's all I really want is an answer why you said that when you knew it wasn't true. But you make up stories about people and what they do in the privacy of a. You said that Skype on Skype, Scott and I probably do weird things. Do you understand? Do you have any understanding of what would really happen to you if you were to say that to almost anybody on YouTube directly to their face? Do you have any understanding of what could happen if you made up a story like that in real life? Of course you don't, because you do it in the privacy of your little enclave. But you will one day run across people that are going to ask you to repeat what you said. That's probably going to happen. And then you should be prepared for that to happen. Whatever it is that you need to prepare, bring a list of answers for questions that you think people are going to ask you. Will you take the Fazio walking challenge, where we both start at a starting point, and we both walk towards Tagbilaran City. We start at 11 o'clock in the morning, just as the sun is starting to get up, and we'll go 24 kilometers, and whoever goes further wins. Will you take the Fazio walking challenge? Will you take the Fazio swimming challenge, where we swim? Will you take anybody's challenge of anything in regards to an exercise program? Every day I hear, you don't do anything, you sit in the house. I do a lot, but I don't put it in public every day what I do. But not only that, how many times must you hear that the doctor said to me, for 6 months you sit in a chair until that surgery, major surgery you had, until it heals? Every day you hear me say that. And every day you say he doesn't do anything. Don't worry about what I do. In 30 days, 6 months is up. Worry about answering the question. Will you take the Fazio walking challenge, where one of us walks side by side with the other until one of us quits? Will you take that challenge? Even all I need is 30 days after my 6 months is up to get back into shape. You can start now. You'll have a 30 or 40 day advantage. I don't care how much walking you can do. I don't care about any of that. In my mind, you couldn't walk next to me in the sun up and down mountains on any day, even if I started right now after not walking so much for 6 months, because you don't have what it takes inside your head to understand that you can overcome. You are afraid to take the Fazio walking challenge. Just get that through your head. And if you don't have it through your head, let's wager some big money on that. Big money. Okay? Big money. Let's just do that right now. Walk all you want. Walk all you want. Let's wager in the sun at noon, at 11 o'clock, and we walk until 4:30 or 5 o'clock, till we get to the mall. It'll take 4 hours. You won't do it because you can't control the outcome. Even if you could win, you won't take the chance to lose. And that's what your life has amounted to. Not taking any chances. living vicariously through other people. You're a psychological enigma in this world, that you believe that everything that you say is true. Where do you come off stating that Daisy May was cheating on me 5 months after we agreed she was going to leave? Where in your head can you come to that conclusion? Logically, it doesn't make any sense, but in your mind, because your brain is a psychological mess, in your mind, 5 months after we break up, Daisy dating another man is somehow cheating. Nobody in their right mind would agree with that. Everybody watches you, and they watch a mess. Stop talking about Daisy May. That was 4 years ago. Find something new to talk about. And I will prove to you, in any way, shape, or form, you're not half the man my mother was. And that's true. Because my mother had a mind that would allow her to do just about anything she wanted to do. My mother would actually go out and till the garden with a rake, a shovel, and a pitchfork, if that's what she wanted to do. You have never, ever, ever shown anybody any physical activity, ever. And there's a lot of reasons for that, isn't there? Yeah, there is. One of them is that for years you said you couldn't do that type of activity. So what makes you believe that you can do all this physical stuff to other people? You're going to beat up Roberto, but you can't show anybody that you swept the floor. If you ever came, why does everybody have to go to your place? Because you have control over your place. Meet in a neutral environment. Let's do that. I think that opportunity is going to arise really soon. And then we'll find out what kind of bravado you have in a public venue. I think that opportunity should come up real soon. I don't know when, but John Blaze, he might know. You keep running off with diarrhea of the mouth. And that's your problem. You have nothing to be proud of in your life. Nothing. There is nothing I could say that I've heard that you did in your life that you could be proud of. Every person that you've ever met, every man, woman, and child that you've ever met hates you. Nobody talks to you ever. Nobody ever says hello to you when you walk into a local store. Nobody ever converses with you. They just kind of ignore you. Because you have that type of a persona. And everybody probably watches your videos. And all that hate and diatribe and hateful soliloquies. They know who you are. And then when you start to ask these intimate questions that are none of your business, that from a psychological point of view put you in a very bad light, you make up an excuse. You need a lot more attention than I do. Me personally, I think that you don't have what it takes to take the Fazio walking challenge. Walk all you want. Practice all you want. We're going to do it in the sun at noon, at 11, and we're going to walk 24 kilometers. 24 kilometers. Okay? 24 kilometers. Whoever falls down loses. Whoever says, I can't walk anymore, loses. Take the Fazio walking challenge. Pretend for that one day you're a real man. A real man. Stop talking about whether or not I'm a real man. I did real man stuff my entire real man life. I bought barges, cranes, tugboats, go-fast cars, race boats, center consoles, diving, swimming, reef diving, wreck diving, 130 feet of water diving, penetration, cave diving, spelunkering. You've done nothing real. Nothing. Get it through your head. You're never going to be a real man. You never were a real man, and you're never going to have the opportunity to be a real man. Apparently that phrase bothers you, so we'll mention it again. You were never a real man, you're not a real man, and you're never going to happen. It's too late for you. Some people might say that you've lost all your testosterone. Some people might say that your testosterone level has been reduced to next to nil. And if you had testosterone, you would take the Fazio walking challenge. If you had any testosterone left, maybe, I don't know if you could buy testosterone. Go out and get some testosterone. Or take John Blaze's advice. Take John Blaze's advice. Take your car to the shop and get an oil change. And don't worry about anybody else. Just take your own advice and mind your own business. We, in general, are so sick and tired of hearing your diatribes about what people should do with their lives. What do you do with your life? Nothing. I walk, but you don't show us you walking. I go to but you don't have a single video of you walking to the beach by yourself. You can't do anything by yourself because you're a paranoid man. And you should be paranoid for all the people that don't like you. And then you like to triangulate. Oh, Michael, Thomas, Fauci, a lot of people don't like you. And I don't care. I never cared, and I'm never gonna care. Okay? There are people that don't like me that they made movies about. And I didn't care then. I don't care now. And I don't care if I ever decide to go back to New York. Okay? I don't care about things like that. It doesn't affect me like you. I don't walk around shaking and shivering in the dark like you. I don't worry about what you say that somebody else doesn't like you. It's your fault. And you know what I'm talking about. And you're not off the hook for that. If someone doesn't like me. If you start something between somebody else and myself, you're on the hook for that. Just remember that. If you start a problem between two people, like the guy that's in lockup, and then he breaks up with his girlfriend, and he gets out and decides to confront you, it's because you did that to him. When you start garbage, when you start crap between two other people, you are the person that started, fermented the garbage between the two people. You may be one day held accountable. Me personally, if I was that guy in lockup, I would be upset with you for trying to have my girlfriend break up with me. I wouldn't forget about that. So when you start garbage between two people, you should understand that one day you might be held accountable for that. What you did to them. What you did. You did it. You did it on purpose. You wanted it to happen. And if they break up and he gets out of detention and he comes and asks you about it, that's your fault. Not his fault. You did that. Every day you try to triangulate between him and her. And that would make you happy. Because your idea of happiness is to foment pain on other people. What you should do is stop that. Learn how to be a little bit normal. But that's not possible for you because Scott explained it best. NPD, type 3 personality disorders with borderline schizophrenic and or psychopaths are not capable of learning. So all of what I said just went in one ear and out the other, and you'll create an excuse to start back with the hate. And that's what you do best. And that's what John Blaze wants you to do. He wants you to foment the hate. He wants you to spread the hate. He wants you. He needs you to do it. John Blaze needs that type of negativity in order to make his life fulfilled. You need to learn to fulfill John Blaze's wishes. John Blaze wants you to hate. Me personally, I don't care whether you hate or not. I will one day have the satisfaction. Oh, you know what I'm talking about. I don't have to say it. You know what I'm talking about. Dude, I don't need your forgiveness. I don't need you to talk about my pain. I don't need you talking about Daisy May. I am best friends with Daisy May, still to this day. And that's probably never going to change. Okay? So whatever it is that you think inside your mind, that somehow you spent years trying to put a wedge between myself and Daisy May. Because that was your way of hurting not only me, but Daisy May. And if you think I forgot about that, I didn't forget about that. I'm going to put that on the list of questions. And there will be a list. And you will, in fact, one day run across somebody that's going to ask you the hard questions. That's going to happen. According to John Blaze, it's going to happen. Let's go to the comments up here. Calamansi. When the apex of your life is remembering how fast you were able to remove diarrhea from a public bathroom, it may have been a failed existence. That's where we started. The revenge of Barry. He screamed at that other guy's wife aggressively in a fit of rage numerous times, yet he pretends his situation with her is actually organic. He did do that. That's what he does. He projects, if you remember, his anger is projected out at everybody else. It's called projection. But the big problem is the narcissistic NPD type 3 personality and the borderline psychopathy of a person's mental instability doesn't allow them to see that what they do is wrong, and they make an excuse. Who has more excuses in this world for everything that's ever happened? And who has never, ever, 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 ever said anything wrong about anybody that he deserves to have any kind of retribution, verbal retribution? He does this every day every day. Everybody, nobody, there's not a single person on all of YouTube that has ever made a redeeming letter of accommodation to him. Nobody ever did that. Now, did I piss off a couple of people in the last 4 days? Oh, I did. But I was challenged to prove that what somebody said was a lie. And I knew I could do that from the get-go. And I said, okay, I'll do that. So I did it. But you know what? Nobody cares. But I did prove that he was a liar. But nobody really cares about it. So if no one cares, he asked me to prove it. I proved it. And maybe that'll be water under the bridge. Maybe not. But if it happens again, I'll just dig up another one of my old videos and we'll do it again. I don't care. I have 26 videos, 53 hours of that nutcase talking about things just like that on YouTube. So, did I piss him off? Probably. Did I piss off his friends? Some of them. And I'm going to piss him off now even more. There is nobody that knows him do I ever want to meet in real life, to go out for dinner, to go to the Lobach River cruise, to go to any kind of a dinner or a function or to have a hamburger. There is nobody that knows that nut job, liar, that I ever want to meet. And that's the end of that. That just saved me an entire day of traveling around with people that are two-faced, duplistic, and are kissing somebody's butt that I feel isn't worth the oxygen that they breathe. Okay? So we just cleared that up. Richie Boong, you take that soundbite. You have my permission to use that soundbite. I want to meet nobody that knows him. Unless they come out and say the guy's a psychopath, and they're not going to do that. And he's a liar, and he's a narcissistic class 3 NPD disorder. And they state it as such in a public venue, on their channel, in a video. But nobody's going to do that. He's bought and paid for everyone's soul that has taken his side in the last 24 hours. Except for the woman whose life he tried to destroy with her boyfriend. Okay? So, you people out there that think I care about whether or not I meet you, whether or not I don't meet you, whether or not I'm going to have dinner with, there is nobody, let's be clear on this, I don't want to meet any of the people that I said I wanted to meet. Because you've all taken his side. And his side, after knowing the man is a liar, after knowing the man has destroyed the reputations of several women to normal people, but you people are right on line with the psychopathy of the NPD type 3 personality disorder person. I don't want to meet any of you. It's not complicated. I don't want to meet people that want to come to the Philippines and pay young girls to be with them. It's not what I am about. If you would have said to me, let's go scuba diving or something like that, maybe. But now, no. No, because you didn't you turned a blind eye to his psychopathy and his narcissistic personality and his manga-ism. You've turned a blind eye to that. I want nothing to do with any of you. I won't mention your names. But there's nothing, nobody. I unsubscribed from all of the people's channels associated with him. I watched the video last night where you all kissed his butt. You people are more sick than the guy who talks about Daisy May. Because at least he's not a manga. Well, never could be a manga. He probably wanted to be a manga, but he's a failed manga. So he's a failed manga. I think he tried to be a manga and failed, like everything else. But I don't want to meet any of you people. I don't want to meet you for dinner. I don't want you to say you saw. I want you to make a public video saying that the type of mentality of the person that buys other people so that they can have money to feed the poor in the Philippines, I don't want to have nothing to do with you people at all. Nothing. Zero. So that clears that up. And going back to the comments, Flywoods. Hey, my buddy Flywoods. I was just ready to go flying. And it started raining. Yesterday I was going to go fly. And today I was getting ready to go fly about an hour ago. That's why I started the video. I was going to go fly, but not flying anything today. It's pouring rain out there. Plywood says his relationship is no one's business but yours, and everyone else's relationship is. That's it. I could have just said that and ended my live stream right in about the first 90 seconds. I could have surmised, I could have summed it all up with what Flywood. Hey, Frank, thanks for stopping by. His relationship is no one's business but yours, and everyone else's relationship is his business. I've been meaning to call you, Frank. I just haven't gotten around to it. Actually, I apologize. I haven't talked to you in a long time. Thanks for stopping by today. Flywood says he failed. He failed miserably, says Flywood. This is quote unquote. He failed miserably to get a simple kiss from his partner live on camera more than once. This is a quote from Flywood, but claims their public display is no one's business. But that is true, though. That is true. That's true. It's really no one's business. It really is no one's business. It's not your business. It's not my business. But when he tried to get a kiss and then get a kiss in public, well, then he decided to make it everybody's business. But it's none of your business. His business. But by him trying to display affection and not receiving it, it's now public business. Remember the guy, Gomez, the Adams family? Old business is old business, and new business is new business. And first we have to finish the old business. When they went into the dungeon, we can't talk about new business until we finish the old business. Well, your business is not my business unless my business turns out to be your business. If I make my business public, then your business and my business that I made public is public business. That's why in all the years that I was with Daisy May, never did I ever discuss my business with anybody, except a few close friends who I trust. But my business is not your business. So I never made my business public, because even if I made my business public to a person that said they were going to keep my business private, they don't have that ability. They are, in fact, incapable of keeping a secret. And then when they make up stories that might, you just wait until it comes time to ask you that question about Warren and what you said about me and Warren. That question is going to happen one day. Rest assured, I would like to know why you said that. Rest assured it will happen. You said it in a public venue. You should not say things like that in a public venue. Rest assured that will be a priority one question when the time comes. You are one illogical man. You make no sense. My business is not your business, but if I make your business everybody's business, then it's everybody's business. You just wait. Just wait. It's going to happen. One day somebody's going to walk up to you and ask you the hard questions. Going to happen. You can curl up into a ball. You can bring all that bravado that you have, that you're going to beat up Roberto. What on earth makes you think you could beat up somebody 20 years younger and twice your size? That's nuts. It's possible, but it's nuts. Roberto. I don't even like Roberto. And I hope if he ever sees you, you try to pull all that bravado. Arthur Yellow. No huggy, no kissy until I get another wedding ring. Can't be. There's never going to be a wedding ring. That's never going to happen. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. Scott, though, you look. It can't happen. That everybody there has a gimmick. Everybody there is being taken care of one way or another. It ain't going to change. As long as there is money to put food on the table for everybody, that situation is never going to change. Okay? It ain't going to change. There ain't never going to be a wedding ring. It ain't going to happen. That guy's not giving up what he got, and he got a lot. And Warren told me what the guy got. Now, I can't repeat it because I can't prove it's true, but Warren told me about the arrangement that they have. But I would never say it because I can't prove it. But Warren could come on here. Hey, Warren, how you doing? I know Warren's listening. I know he's listening. Why don't you start making videos again, Warren? Yeah, come on. Stop being expired. Stop the expiration date. Come back to life. Come on, Warren. Come on back. Come on back and tell me what it is that I have stored in my Skype, but you say it in words. Remember what you said in words? What the arrangement, what the Christmas bonus is? What the Christmas bonus is? Now, I would never tell you what the Christmas bonus is, but apparently somebody is getting a bonus every Christmas, year after year, month, and then any time in between. There are bonuses given out. But I can't say that because that's what Warren said. Now, I would never be a tattletale or a gossip. Michael Fazio cannot be kept down. No matter the setback, he will put his nose to the grindstone and continue his quest to exceed his goals. Thank you, Scott. Barry in America. Oh, we have Barry in America. He spends all the time, day and night, instead of acting like a grown ass man. Hey, Barry, how you doing? Barry, I wish a couple of things, but I would prefer to see you on the outside and him on the inside. I really mean that. Because this guy just won't stop. I would prefer that, but it didn't happen like that. I wish that you would have listened to the advice of other people. But I know it's Barry. I know that's Barry, and that's okay. But if there was I did a poll the other day. Would we want to see Barry free? And the poll was 63% of the people, with 19 people taking the poll. They would want to see you free. I would be one of them. So let's see what we got here. He spends all the time, day and night, instead of acting like a grown ass man, he just wants to break up me and Shah. When it's done, I is getting my pound of skin. Yup, I sure am. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do with that comment? I'm going to post that comment. I'm going to pin that comment to the top of the page. That message has been pinned. Because I kind of wish when you look at both people logically and realistically, you're not anywhere near as evil as that man is. He is, in fact, an incarnation of some negative force of nature. That candle thing and it kind of reminds me of the black arts. The black arts. I wish that didn't happen. I wish that you could be in a different place. I wish there was another thing. Remember last year I made you, well, we won't talk about that. Barry in America, thank you for stopping by. He spends all the time, day and night, instead of acting like a grown-ass man, he just wants to break me and Shah up. When it's done, I getting my pound of skin. Yep, I sure am. See, now that I disagree. That's your only connection to the outside world at this point. To take that away from you shows what a malicious, negative individual he is. To just want to take that last piece of life, the last hope, the last glimmer of life away from you, for that alone, he deserves nothing, and nothing less than nothing, because that's how miserable he is. To try to take, you have such a little bit. I've gone against you, you've gone against me. That's true. But you have nothing except Shah, and he wants to take that away from you for an implied threat. When he did the same thing to dozens of other people, and more specifically you, hundreds of times, to trigger you, to get you to the place where you are now. He did that to you. There's no doubt in my mind that he did that to you. He spent his entire waking moment every day trying to get you to say what you said. And now what you said is what you said, and you can't unsay that. But that's what his life was to destroy. That's what he does with everybody. He did it with Frank Flywoods. He did it to Ruby Galars. He did it to your ex-girlfriend, Dimples. He did it. He does it to everybody. It's what he does. He doesn't have a decent bone in his body. But that's true. So, sorry. I would prefer to have you on the outside and him on the inside. Over-opinionated, lumbering monger. That piece of garbage. Yep. We got to find out what that word means, actually. Let's find out what that word. I'm going to copy that word. What? That's a new word for me. I don't even know that that's a real word, but we're going to find out. Over-opinionated. Pituitary. Okay, that's what I thought it was. Okay. It has to do with the pituitary gland. So, wow, Scott made a spelling error. That's amazing. The pituitary is a small pea-sized gland found at the base of your brain in line with the top of your nose. Your pituitary acts as your body's master gland. Now, we don't know that Scott's word. Pituitary. Oh, there's the word. Let's take a look at the word. Pituitary. I think Scott had an extra letter. Pituat. Oh, pituitary lumbering monger. Whoa. Scott made a spelling error. Oh my God, that's hard to believe. That's a first. The pituitary. And then the other word is pituitary. Pituitary. Yeah, I knew there was an extra letter there. I didn't know where it was. Sorry, Scott. I don't mean... Scott is probably kicking himself in. Barry in America. He a demon. I had dreams where God done told me he is a messenger from hell and old scratch. That is the truth by God. I look, he did the same thing for you as he did for me. I've been saying this for years. Look, let's just go into the psychology and psychopathy of a psychopath and or narcissistic NPD3 personality. Let's just go into the psychopathy. Number one, this is true. Everybody with an NPD type 3 personality, they don't study to be the psychopaths that they are. It comes natural. I'm talking to Barry now and everybody else. Okay. Psychopaths and narcissistic type 3 personalities don't study to be psychopaths. It comes natural. But the common denominator between psychopaths and people with NPD type 3 personalities is that they all have the same characteristical traits. Whereas he's trying to destroy the relationship between Shah and Barry. That's true. I hope it doesn't ever happen. But that's true that he's trying to do that. Any psychopath, any narcissist type NPD type 3 personality disorder, any and all have the same characteristical traits. No matter the language that they speak, the country they come from, the age, or their education. We'll look that up right now. They all have the same traits. None of them have ever gone to school for it. None of them have ever read about it. None of them have ever tried to be more narcissistic or more psychopathic. Nobody ever practices to be a psychopath. They just are psychopaths. They just are NPD type 3 personality. We'll take a look at that. That's true. Now, why did I just explain that? Because what Barry said is so close, or the truth itself, that when we're going to go look this up online, you're going to see that what Barry says has truth to it. I've often told you that there is a good and evil force in this world. And I've often said that anybody that wants to sell their immortal soul or mortal soul to the devil or the level of satanic world, Satan's world, so to speak, okay? Many people have done it. They've admitted they did it. They regretted doing it. But anybody that wants to do it can do it. And in return, they get monetary and or some sort of small physical rewards in this life. Well, we see that happening for sure, because they keep getting away with it. Because according to Louis Paganpons, Satan runs this world. Now, Louis and I have had many conversations about this. Louis is a firm believer that Satan rules this realm, R-E-A-L-M. I agree. I agree because I've seen satanic rituals. I agree because I watched satanic rituals take place. I agree because I dated a woman who was a real witch. I agree because I've known the head warlock in all of South Central Florida. Okay? I agree because I've seen all of this stuff in person, growing up and living in New York City. I've seen witches rituals with people that have altars in their bedroom and they sleep on a cot because the altar takes up the whole bedroom with candles and beads and shamanistic type stuff. The girl I dated as a child at 17, when I moved to Florida to live with her in 1993 or even 1992, before I moved down to Key Largo, Florida in 93, to the Key West, Big Pine Key. She had a freaking ritualistic altar in her bedroom that had to be 7 feet by 7 feet and raised up off the floor 3 steps, 3 6-inch steps. Candles everywhere. And beads and things that shake with gourds with beads and stuff. She was nuts. She was completely nuts. She prayed to the demonic forces of this world every day. When we were 17, she was a hair cutter. Her father owned the hair salon. This is true. I'm telling you people a true story. She would do these rituals by clipping somebody's hair, and she would bring the hair. What was that girl's name? She would take the hair. She would pray over the hair, but she would take the hair to one of those people, a nomad type of a person. Those, a gypsy woman that was in Rockaway Beach, right where all the rides were. And she would take the hair, and depending on what the person wanted, the girl, the gypsy girl, would tell, well, her name was, I'll just call her Bip. That was my nickname for her, Bip. Bip would bring the hair to the girl, and the girl would say how much the ritual cost. And then Bip would go back and talk to the person who gave them the hair and the fingernail clippings, and then tell the person it would cost like $5. Or that was a lot of money, or $2. And then the person would say, okay, and give Bip $5 or $2. It wasn't a lot of money, but then it was a lot of money. It was an hour's wages. $2 was more than an hour's wages. And then that girl would do the ritual. And she had also an altar set up in the back. I've seen this since I was a little boy, 17 years old, when I first started going. December 2nd, 1972 was when I met her. Okay, well, I knew her since I was 12, but December 2nd, 1972 was when I dated her. So now I gave you a date and a time and a girl's name. But Mr. Satan's buddy, he will say, well, that's a lie. Fazio's giving out lies. He lies. How about you wager me $10,000 that she had a beauty parlor, one door off the corner. Oh, wow, now I forgot. Well, it was Metropolitan Avenue and Graham. Metropolitan and Graham. The beauty parlor was one door off the corner of Metropolitan and Graham. How about we bet $10,000? And somehow I'll figure out how to prove that. I'll get in touch with her younger sister. Her name is Teresa. I'll get in touch with her younger sister through a friend of mine that I don't talk to much anymore, but he was married to her, and I'll find out, remember the name. But why, instead of saying Fazio's a liar, prove that Fazio's a liar. Prove it. Bet me $10,000, and we'll go through the action, and you'll pay me the $10,000, because you already owe me a lot. for the aggravation that you have caused me in the past. Don't think that that's just water under the bridge. So when you bet me that $10,000, that'll be partial payment for the aggravation that you want to bet me that I'm lying. Just the fact that you called me a liar, you're going to have to prove that one day. So moving on, I'm trying to remember the girl's name. And this is all true. I wonder if I could Google it. The last name begins with P-A. P-A. What was that girl's name? The gypsy girl. Anyway, so that was her. Now, when I dated her until I was 21. Then she went out with Dande Farazzoli. Then she married Vinny. Now, that I could prove easy enough because it's on Facebook, but that I don't really have to prove. All I need to hear from you is that, yeah, let's get together, sign an agreement, saying that she wasn't a witch, saying that you'll bet me $10,000 that she didn't have a beauty parlor, one door off Metropolitan and Graham, and that you'll pay me if you lose. Okay? Because you don't know how to tell the truth, because you can't remember that there's 56 pesos to the dollar, and you can't figure out what 200 pesos is. Because you can't do simple math doesn't mean my memory is lax when it comes to stuff I did 50 years ago. Okay? I have a good memory for that. Now, do I hear you taking the Fazio challenge? Do I hear you wanting to bet $10,000 that I'm lying? I'll prove she was a witch too, from her husband, her ex-husband, who was my best friend all my life. Okay? But you keep calling me a liar. That's not going to work out well for you at the end of the day, because eventually people will understand that it is you who is a psycho liar. And you're a nutcase when it comes to lying. You lie about the craziest stuff. Me and Scott Del Fuego doing stuff on Skype, me and Warren. The questions will be given. You will either answer the questions, or you will cower down like a little girl, like you always do in real life. Don't start with all that crap that the bravado, all that don't mean nothing to me. Nothing. Don't triangulate my court case against me and the guy who I'm involved with in the court case. You're not going to get anybody to do your bidding. And I'm not going to be afraid of you getting somebody else to do your bidding for you. I told you what was going to happen. Okay? Eventually, somebody will confront you when you say something to them, and they'll say, no, that's not allowed. You're not allowed to say that about me. How many people want to go visit you? Look at me. Look at me right now. Look at this. Watch this. Watch me turn this around. See the window there? There's the window. Watch this. Turn it around. There's the door. The door. Do I look like I'm paranoid? It's a beautiful day. The doors are open. The windows are open. The gate's open. Come and get it, little man. Feel spunky? Because you're the one that starts all the crap on YouTube. You should be the one to finish something. And don't stop triangulating to get other people to do your dirty work. One day that'll backfire on you as well. But moving on, what was that girl's name? What was that witch's name? God, I forget. That was 50 years ago. 50 years ago. Shelley, Kelly, Melly, Sally. Anyway, I've seen witches, I've seen warlocks, I've seen ritualistic, satanic rituals. I've seen rituals in the Masonic levels that you people couldn't even begin to comprehend. Yeah, there is a form of negative energy, and or we call it evil in this world, that controls, and can you get in touch with it? Yes. And do people, normal people, can they sell their mortal souls to it? Not everybody could. Some people can, some people can't. It depends on what you have to offer in return. In this bum's case, look at all the hate. Look at the hate that he has posted in this world, on YouTube, in real life, in Family Matters, in everywhere he's ever been. Nobody likes him. Nobody. For that, the devil, Satan, the dark vortex will take a piece of your soul. And in return, you'll have some small monetary gain. But you'll still, at the end of the day, have to pay the piper. And paying the piper you will. Every time somebody confronts you and you back down, you're paying the piper. Because you don't have what it takes to stand up for what you think is right or just. You go around belittling and disgracing everybody and everybody's girlfriend, everybody's wife, and you don't see it. That's why you hide from the rest of the world. Let's look this up. The commonalities, we'll call it the commonalities of narcissistic type 3 personality disorders, or the commonalities of psychopaths. And if it's a spiritual commonality, that they all have the same characteristical traits, or if I'm making this stuff up, because I'm not making it up. I'm just trying to see where Barry in America, he's a demon. I agree. He's demonic. And see, that's why I agree with you, because I've seen this years ago. As soon as he started burning candles, that was all I need. I was the one that talked about the candle, the burning of the candles. I was the one who made everybody aware of the satanic nature of YouTube. I was that person, because that's what he is. That was the proof the public needed to prove that what you're saying is true. Red Horse Adventures. Woo. Not sure who you... Oh, no, you're not. Whoa, not sure who you are talking about, but doesn't sound very enlightening. Oh, no, not you. You wouldn't know who that is. Scott Del Fuego. Old Scratch, noun, chiefly South Midland and Southern U.S. 1. The devil and Satan. I knew it had something to do with demonic, but I didn't actually know. I thought it's a slang for Satan. Thanks, Scott. Okay, so let's look this up. Let's look this up together. Let's look up commonalities. Commonalities. COMMONALITIES of psychopaths. PSYCHOPATHS and Satan. Commonalities of psychopaths and Satanism. Oh, I gotta shut that curtain. because I know my spiritual goop. I know more about the spiritual realm than 99 out of 100 people in this world, or more. Much, probably a lot more, actually. Growing up as I did, where I did, and even some of my best friends and people I did business with had done exactly what I'm talking about. In fact, one of the most famous people in all of Queens, New York, a man who every single person in New York City, Queens, Brooklyn, and the Bronx knows the man's name. That if I was to say his name, he sold his soul to Satan when he was 16 years old. Common, and now he's one of the most, he's more well known than Mayor Giuliani. And a lot richer. And he sold his soul to Satan at the age of 16 years old. I watched it happen in a ritual. I watched it happen. Okay. Psychopathy and depression as predictors of satanic Okay, let's just go to the one that's on top here. Let's get this link open here. Okay. So yeah, I accept. Okay. So you people think that I make this stuff up as I'm talking on YouTube. This is old hat to me. This stuff is some of the most well-known things of psychopathy and psychopathy and narcissistic personality disorders. I could have said narcissistic personality disorders and Satanism, and we still would have came up to the same, it's going to still come up to the same answer, the commonality between psychopathy and Satanism and NPD type 3 personality disorders. Okay. I want to get this. Okay, it's a short, okay. And I'm gonna post that. I'm gonna post it 3 times, but I also want to put it in the description box. Okay? You guys, you could read that while I'm going over to my description box. Okay, so that's the number 2 red at the top there. Okay. Oh, we're going to talk about Trump too. But I got nothing else to do. It's raining, and you guys need to know that Trump just got a new pair of knee pads. And he's given Mr. Yahoo a tune-up right now. He's tuning him up right now. Oh man. Okay, where are we here? I'm wrong here. I am lost. Yeah. Okay, here I am right here. Okay. Somehow that didn't work out. Okay. All right, let's go back over here. Okay, so it's a D, E, G. Okay. Psychopathy. And depression as predictors of satanic syndrome. Okay, well, I don't know how those things got mixed up, but let's save that. Let's go over here. I think I'm going to have to remove those links. This piece of junk. I'm working with a computer that is a real piece of junk. You're going to have to wait. Okay, we got to remove this. We got to remove this. And we got to remove this. And we got to put that there like that. Okay, there's your link. There's your psychopathy and satanic link. And we'll read the article. Hello, Coffee House. Thank you for stopping by. And thank you in advance for the thumbs up. Okay, now, psychopathy. Oh, let's see, Coffee House. Okay, all right. Psychopathy and depression. So we're talking about sociopaths and the psychopathy and depression as predictors of the Satanic syndrome. Now, they won't come right out and say that it's satanic worship, but they will say it's satanic-like. Okay? Abstract. Okay, so we're going to have to make this, okay, you know what we're going to do right now? I'm going to copy this. I think I'll be able to read it better if I post it in my my page. Because these letters are too small for me, and if I make it bigger, then I got to make it smaller. Okay? Let's go back over here. Let's go here. Now, this is the psychopathy. I won't be able to post it in the chat. But this is what I said before was what I was leading up to. People that are psychopaths, people that are NPD type 3 personalities, they have a satanic traits. That's what they have. That's true. Okay? So, open theology, depression as predictors of satanic syndrome. The aims of this research were to determine, 1, the existence of an internally coexistent and valid latent construct of the satanic syndrome. So they don't call it Satan, they call it satanic syndrome. So this study that I just gave you the link for was to determine the existence of an internal, consistent, and valid latent construct. So if we wanted to go through this by word, if we wanted to delve, D-E-L-V, into this topic, the existence, so something that exists, of internally, something inside. Now, they're not talking about inside the body, they're talking about inside the brain. An internal, consistent, constant, something internal that is constant and valid, real, latent. Latent means slightly retarded, but also, look up latent. It means that it's not exactly occurring at this present time, but it'll happen to you at a later time. Latent means when you have pubic hair. Pubic hair would be latent. It wouldn't happen to you at birth. It would happen to you later on. And to prove that I'm right about that, we'll just look up the word latent. And it's a characteristic that happens later on in life, or later in the time, later in time. Okay? No, okay. Where's the word latent? Come on, latent. Nope, it didn't happen. All right, latent. See, I copied the word latent. Okay, let's go over here. We'll do it again. Latent, paste it. Latent meaning, okay, something that happens later. The state of existing but not yet developed. Like pubic hair does not exist at birth, but it manifests later. Hidden. A talent for diplomacy. That's me, the talent for diplomacy. Latently, I have a latent talent, but it's something that has not yet developed. So the psychopathy of Satanism is a latent talent or latent manifestation of the psyche in a construct. A construct means something that is real, of satanic syndrome. So it's satanic syndrome is a construct that is real. This psychopathy of satanic syndrome is latent in, and if the psychopathy of the depression are significant predictors. So in other words, if a person has the psychopathy and depression, and which are significant predictors of satanic syndrome, in other words, if someone portrays this type of mindset constantly, day after day after day after day after day after day, year after year, month after month, then they have latent constructs of satanic syndrome. So if the psychopathy, that would mean the mental state of that person, and depression of that person are significant predictors of the satanic syndrome within the different sex and ethnic subexamples. We conducted a survey in the community sample of adult Christians in the region, Croatia, where the Croats, who are most members of the Roman Catholic Church, live together with a Serbian ethnic minority, whose members are Serbian Orthodox Church. The equalized convenience sample was divided into two sex and ethnic homogeneous subgroups. The Satanic syndrome proved to be characterized as a one-dimension factorial construct. So in other words, it did happen and it was real, indicating that the importance of participating in satanic rituals, psychic seances, during which the dead are called to appear, persons becoming knowledgeable and about black magic, being a member of an occult society, and reading books and magazines that deal with the esoteric occult issues. So in other words, somebody that spends time reading about this stuff and practicing those satanic rituals, practicing burning candles, for instance, praying to satanic forces, for instance. Those people become what is known in the beginning as Satanic Syndrome type personality disorders, or become part of a satanic subculture, which is basically, because of their prowess for the occult, because of the practice of the occult, they become familiar with what is called satanic syndrome. They learn about it by practicing the occult methods of being a member of the occult society, reading books about the occult, dealing with esoteric and occult issues. They become familiar with satanic forces and principles that are all common between all people of the world that believe in the same type of thing. And if you were to get into this to the highest or lowest level, you would see that they get knowledge from these satanic forces, no matter their age, sex, ethnic background, or education. By practicing these skills, they become familiar with satanic forces. Within the male-female Croatian and Serbian ethnic minority samples, the amount of variances explained by the predictor or variables were 20, 18, 20, and 16% respectively. There is evidence that means nothing without the actual study and the graph in front of you. And some people don't know how to read graphs, so it doesn't really matter. But there is evidence that depressive psychopaths are attracted to satanic syndrome. Okay? This is a common denominator of depressive psychopaths and satanic syndrome as a means of attaining magical power and control over their destiny. Okay, let's just copy that and we'll post that in the chat. So there is evidence that depressive psychopaths, and we know who they are attracted to the satanic syndrome as a means of obtaining magical power. Magical power, that being candle burning ceremonies, praying to the dark vortex, as John Blaze says, to gain control over their destiny regardless of sex and ethnic differences. Okay, let's get that in blue. The hypothesis, the thought process, the belief confirmed that comorbidity of psychopathy and depression expresses the existence of a destructive subpersonality underlying the satanic syndrome, which indicates the existence of satanic spirituality. This means that everything I tried to describe to you is true and correct. That people that do candle burning ceremonies, people that pray to the dark vortex, as John says it, people that are psychopathic in nature, people with NP3 personality disorders are, in fact, communicating with the existence of satanic spirituality. Okay, so when I say something, it's true. Whether you want to believe it or not makes no difference to me. Okay, we'll cut it off there. We'll cut this out. Okay, it's part of a 3-part piece. It's going to be. So you people think that I just sit in my house and I've never done anything or I don't know anything. You people, and to me, I look at you as the profane, because you don't know everything that I just told you, because you have spent your entire worthless lives drinking in bars and doing chemical sodas, like mixing Sprite with Coke and things like that. You people are the profane. You are not what I think of you as fully developed human beings. I look at you like as refuge, flotsam and jetsam on the shoreline of a lake or body of water. I don't look at you with much. I look at you pretty much with disdain. Scott says, Michael's channel is a channel of light and goodness. Yeah, because I am negative towards certain people. I am just sharing knowledge with you that these people are part of a sinister and dark force that 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 covers a swath of YouTube. Mongerism, alcoholism, drunken, taking pills, dating little girls and giving them money. It's all part of a satanic force. When I point at lying, constantly lying to people about whose girlfriend is this and whose girlfriend is that, and Fazio is a liar. When you know that it's not true, that's the satanic forces of the dark arts at work. And what I just did for the last 20 minutes is prove to you that this psychopathy of psychopaths and narcissistic NPD3 personalities, no matter how you Google it, no matter what two references or frame of references you put into Google, it's going to come up with psychopaths in every country, of every sex, of every nature, have the same characteristical traits as psychopaths in every other country. And they've all done the same thing. What? Because you don't see it as negative? Because you didn't see somebody praying to a satanic force? It didn't happen? It did happen. It did happen. It does happen. And you have people like these people that claimed I was a liar last week. Prove it, Fazio. And then when I proved it, all of his following, his flock that found out that he was lying, they all still manifested themselves on his behalf by saying hello and greeting him on that woman's channel last night. Because they've all sold their soul for money and little girls, alcoholism, and possibly a place to stay in the Philippines. The psychopathy of mongerism is no different than the psychopathy of being a drug addict or being an alcoholic or just plain a nutcase in general. You know it to be a nutcase. I look at it from a spiritual point of view, that people that practice these rituals become psychotic, and the psychopathy of them is of a satanic nature. Satan is Satan. Negative is negative. Light is light. These people have nothing to do with the light. You have that giant egotistical nutcase who manifested words saying, Fazio, prove that I'm lying. When I did he back down? Did he retract? Did he apologize? No. He moved forward with the same psychopathy, because they won't ever will they ever apologize, because that is the psychopathy of satanic nature. They will never apologize. Everything, there's a rule of Satanism. Do as thou wilt. You should look that up. It means anything they do is okay. Whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent to anybody and everybody else, the psychopathy, do as thou wilt, is satanic. Let's look it up. Don't believe me? Let's look up. Do as thou wilt. Do as thou wilt. W-I-L-T. Do as thou wilt. Aleister Crowley. Do as thou wilt. The meaning. Aleister Crowley is the king of Satanism. Not only that, and I was moving into this within a few minutes anyway. What you're going to find is that most Satanists are also bisexual. Okay? It just happens to be part of their nature. Do as thou wilt is a modern an exploration into the life and works of a modern mystic, occultist, poet, mountaineer, and bisexual adventurer known to his contemporaries as the Great Beast. Okay, now I was going to say that bisexuality is also part of Satanism a long time ago, but I was not up to that part. So you think I'm not aware of this. I will tell you, the person that I was just talking to you about, the monger, who said, "Prove it, Fazio," he's the same man that said he wanted to have sex with 2 ladyboys. Not 1, but 2. That's enough proof for me. Okay, I just copied that. See how I copied that? And it didn't go, right? It didn't happen. You think I'm kidding about this. I'm not kidding about this stuff. I'm not even kidding about the people that he meets and becomes friends with. I believe, and I've always said this, that there's an unholy alliance between that nutcase that told me to prove it, Fazio, and his friends, whether it's mongerism with female gender or whether it's bisexuality in some cases. I believe it's both. Where is my... I think this is it right here. Yeah, okay. It's hard to do that. And I'm the only person that goes through the explanation. I don't just sit here and yell at the camera and tell you stuff that I believe to be true. None of this stuff do I believe to be true. I believe it all to be true. All of it. If I just said to you that the mongerism part with young girls and or women and money is one part of this satanic force. And now I brought in Aleister Crowley and his bisexual preference. I don't say it lightly that you would be surprised on YouTube who was bisexual. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay, as that guy said. The guy on the TV show. I forgot his name. I don't like Jerry Seinfeld. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay, but I will tell you that there is proof, positive, that several of these people that you look up to, that you monger with, and that you associate with, are probably bisexual. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay, as some people say all the time, but there is a connection between Satanism and do as thou wilt. Satanic, that is the number one premise of all satanic rituals. I could have brought up Aleister Crowley from the beginning, but I didn't, because I already know everything there is to know about Aleister Crowley and Satanism. And I know what do as thou wilt means. It means just like what you're getting on YouTube, some nutcase saying and doing anything that he wants to other people, thinking it's okay, and never retracting, apologizing, or being sorry for the evil, negative, sadistic, malicious things he says about women and other men. Scott and I having Skype relations, Warren and I, none of that matters to him. Do as thou wilt. But just remember this, the person that is doing as thou wilt is also following Aleister Crowley's path, and bisexuality is a common denominator in people who of a satanic nature. Take my word for that as well. When I told you I watched and experienced the actual satanic rituals. I actually watched and satanic rituals take place inside a big circle. And the stuff that went on inside that big circle was not something that I would want to partake in. But I got to watch it. Okay? The same thing goes on at the owl ceremony with the people in Northern California. I forgot those nutcases that all the presidents and all the heads of corporations, they go to the owl ceremony. They all have sex with each other. The Skull and Bones Society, they all have sex with each other. This is not anything that's hidden. This is part of their nature. They don't look at it as good or bad. They just look at it as part of their nature. But you people don't understand what's going on behind the scenes. People that have the mindset as do as thou wilt and not have any remorse over it whatsoever, then they get caught, hands down caught in an actual physical lie and have no remorse over it. They are do as thou wilt. They are psychopaths. They are NP3 personality, and they are satanic in spirituality. And I could go on and on about this for days because I studied this. I've told you many, many times over the years. I spent 17 years studying religion, theology, psychology, and more importantly, the occult, and or the different philosophies of all over the world. All over the world. Philosophies from all over the world. Where my teachers trained all over the world. And they made us aware of all of these different mindsets. You people are the profane. You get somebody like the head of Google, or that other guy, the guy who built Tesla, that Elon Musk, Trump, okay, Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton. Those people know that what I just told you is true. They participate in the rituals. Remember Mr. Epstein and how many people that were in his little black book? All of Congress, all of the Senate knew about what he was. Was anybody's name ever come out in a public venue who was in the little black book? Did that woman, Jolene Maxwell, did she ever go to jail? Do you know that she's in jail? Do you know for a fact she's probably partying on the same island that Jeffrey Epstein is partying? And that guy didn't kill himself. Not in my opinion, he did not. And nobody ever was held responsible for that. And what about all the little boy loving, and that happened in England with all their those people that wear the wigs, I think they call them the wigs. Nobody ever got prosecuted for that. It all blew up. Everybody was getting prosecuted, and in 24 hours, it was all gone. It was all gone. No one ever talked about it. No one ever mentioned it again. No one ever got prosecuted for it. No one ever got prosecuted for bringing children into the White House on Obama's watch. No one ever gets in trouble for that. Because like George Carlin said, it's a big club and you ain't in it. But the problem is none of you people even understand that what he said is real. I do. Okay, let's save that. Let's go back to the comments. Hey, in its simplest form, DNC, it is hedonism in its simplest form, pure and simple. It's everything involving hedonism. In a simple, easily graspable concept. Because people don't want to go to that. Oh, that guy's, he's a Satanist. They would rather say he's a hedonist. Same thing. And the guy who said, prove it, Fazio, prove I'm a liar. When I proved he was a liar, every single person, every person that has taken his side, every person on that lady's show last night that greeted him as if nothing happened, every person that said, hey, how you doing, to the girls involved, and let's talk about this, and never brought up what he had done, that what he had been proven to be. They're all in that type of a mindset. It's much, much deeper than you believe it to be. If they've sold their soul because someone said, when you get to the Philippines, I'll help you find a bunch of women. And you know you're only going to be here for a short time. And you think that's okay. And you think it's okay to pay women for sex. It's hedonistic. In my opinion, I'm entitled to my opinion, right? Especially that I proved that the guy who called me a liar and said, prove that I'm a liar. And then when I proved that he's a liar, and you people still take his side, that's sick. That's the sickness that goes along with the camaraderie of being a hedonist and or being satanic in nature and being psychopathic in nature and being narcissistic in nature. Did he destroy or try to destroy several women's reputation? Yes, he did. Did it work? One person seems to be pretty upset about it, but the rest of them just fluff it off like no big deal because they are what I just described, hedonistic and or psychopathic in nature. Scott says complete immorality. That's true. There are gays, says DNC. Oh, this is going to be a good one. Let's get this turned around. There are gays and bisexuals with much better behavior. Now, I'll vouch for that because I worked in Manhattan and I met hundreds of people that were bisexual and gay back in the 70s and 80s, and not all of them, most of them were just normal people. And I'm going to agree with the DNC. I'll give you an example in a moment. His poor behavior is rooted in self-serving at the expense of others. That is the lowest form of behavior. Right. Usury and or total callousness towards another person's well-being. And that's what happened with that girl, the princess girl. Destroyed her. Totally destroyed her. Yet there's no remorse. So let me tell you about, I could go on. I know 100 people that are gay. I told you about my favorite uncle was gay. Never did he ever insinuate or do anything of that would, anything immoral ever. We all knew he was gay. He didn't care that we knew, but never did he say anything off color, ever. But anyway, I'm in the city, and I'm working for these two guys. It's 81st Street. Right, here's another address for the hedonist, for the little psychopathy case. I'm working for Sunshine Realty. Guy's name is Jack. He owns Sunshine Realty, Medusa Realty. He owned 3 realty companies. His name was Jack. He lived on 81st Street and right off Central Park East. Okay, 5th Avenue, is that, I don't, he lived 81st Street and Central Park. Okay, so Jack owned brownstones in Manhattan. You know, he didn't own them. Well, he was the manager. That guy gave me work where I would make $600 to take a piece of marble 5 feet wide and a 12-inch deep step, 2 inches thick, in a brownstone that was 100 years old. I would go to the brownstone, I'd measure the marble, the width, the depth, and the thickness of the marble. And then I would order a piece of marble from a marble company in Queens, New York. Okay? And I would tell Jack, I gotta charge you $1,000 for the job. I got to. I mean, I can't do it for less. Because it was worth $1,000. $400 to $600 is what I paid for the marble steps, depending on the width and the thickness. Okay, so let's say I paid $600 for a step. I would charge $600 to put it in. I would have to go to Manhattan, measure it, and it had to be accurate. And then I'd go to the marble company and have them cut it, and then I'd bring it back and I'd install it. Jack would tell me, I'm going to give you a check for $3,000. And you cash the check and you give me back $2,000. So here I am charging him $1,200, $600 for the stone, $600 for the labor, and he's charging $3,000 for the job. This is good. This is working out really good for everybody. He's making $1,800 for me to do the work and him to handle the paperwork. I could do that kind of work all day long. So in one of the jobs was 2 of the men in that building on 81st and Central Park East. They wanted a washer and dryer, a Maytag washer and dryer, the ones with the coins. Remember those? You put the coin in there? And they wanted the commercial Speed Queens, not Maytag, Speed Queens. I'm telling a story, now I'm lying, right? It was the Speed Queen washer and dryer with the money, where you put the money in the slot. They were about $1,200 a piece, these two. $1,200 for the washer, $1,200 for the dryer. So with that, the old washers and dryers, there was nothing wrong with that, but they weren't big enough to put the size wash that they wanted in. So these 2 guys lived in the same brownstone in that building that I was putting the step in. And I was kind of working for Jack because Jack owned the building, but it was their washer and dryer. So anyway, when I was in, I didn't know what gay was. I didn't know much about being, I was only maybe 18 years old at the time, 17. I was right out of high school. I was doing jobs on my own. What car did I have? I'll tell you how old I was when I figure out what car I had. I was before I was 21. Because I had the yellow station wagon. So I was maybe 18 or 19. Anyway, so the guys would always invite me up for breakfast, and when I was working, they were really friendly guys. So one day I went into their apartment and I did work for them in their apartment also. I did some carpentry work. And I said to them, there's only 1 bedroom here. Where do you guys sleep? And they told me, we're gay. I never met any gay people before. I know my uncle was gay, but I never met any gay people that said that they were gay. Those were the first 2 gay, and I worked for them for years. They were pretty cool guys. Nothing immoral. There was no drugs. There was no alcohol. They both had jobs working for big companies in Manhattan. They were paying probably $3,000, $4,000 a month for rent. They gave me cash, no checks. And they were totally cool guys. I might have worked for them and Jack for on and off for 10 years before I started building decks explicitly. I did all of Jack's work. I made $600 for the day. He made $2,000. I didn't care. I was making $600 a day when a day's pay was $75. Another story that I'm lying about, right? Look, we look up Sunshine Realty, Fifth Avenue. Probably Jack was in his 60s at the time. He's probably gone now, but what a cool guy to work for. I wish I could remember his last name. So I have more experience than any and all of you people put together in the occult, witchcraft, metaphysics, religion, theology, Eastern philosophies, Catholicism, Buddhism, and also into the black arts because of just how I grew up, where I grew up, and what I researched and what I did. So when I tell you I studied religion and theology privately for 17 years, you have to understand it's true. So all this stuff that I showed you now is all old hat. So Barry started all of this by calling somebody satanic in nature, and he's right about that. He was definitely right about it. That is the guy's nature. Scott is talking about mongerism here. Let's turn this around. It really is a struggle between good and evil. Well, that's a whole nother level of reality, but one who defends traditional positivity against mongers and sex freaks, chasing young vulnerable victims to co-opt them with their wealth. That's true. See, these people don't think, and here is the problem. Here's the problem. I said this to Scott many, many, many times about the Philippines. There are things that the Filipino culture accepts. Proof of that is the psychopath that was on the show last night, and everybody was treating him as if he was a normal individual, and the host of the show. They accept that the women have to do things to help their families. And we all know what I'm talking about. But it doesn't make it right morally or ethically. But they do it. And then there are people that accept it because they know it's part of the Philippines culture. And then there are people that accept it because they're getting paid to accept it. And they've sold a little piece of their soul. So when you're talking about morals and ethics and you add money into the mix, you have to have somebody that's steadfast in their moral point of view and their ethical point of view. None of these people are any of those things. Money, nice place to live, I'll do anything you want. Nice, you're going to give me a girl when I get to the Philippines, I'll do anything you want. You're going to help the children, I'll do anything you want. It's sick. Me personally, those children would starve to death if I had to sell this much of my soul to feed them. I wouldn't do it. But other people are willing to give up a piece of their ethics or their mindset. But those children they'd starve to death before I would agree that paying women for sex is rational and okay. I wouldn't do it. I don't agree with it. I never agreed with it. And I'm never going to agree with it. You people that do that are right in that level of consciousness of hedonism, like DNC says. Hedonism is a nice word. Sounds nice, right? But it's still satanic in nature. Satan is a negative word. But hedonism sounds better. So you're all a bunch of hedonists. Uh-oh, new name here. Jack Thompson. That song, I Want a Dirty, that's Pink Floyd, Jack. I Want a Dirty Woman. Ah, The Dirty Woman, the song by... That song is about a guy, is about one of those guys out on tour, and he calls up, and his wife hangs up on him. That's one of my favorite songs. Hey, Jack Thompson is in the house. Welcome to the machine. You got here just in time, Jack. It's still raining, boy. I wanted to go fly today, too. Want to see me watch, Jack? Well, I'll do magic for you. I've been talking for at least going on 18, 20 minutes now. I haven't had any water. Ready, Jack? This gulp's for you, baby. 4 gulps, 7 bubbles for Jack and also Scott. Real men can do things like that. Not so real men. They quiver. They quiver and shake. When they watch me drink that water, they quiver and shake in their boots. Their little booties. Because they cannot drink liters of water. They cannot operate barges, cranes, tugboats, backhoes, bobcats, drill rigs. They can't fix airplanes. They can't fly airplanes. They can't take things apart and put them back together. They can't even put a dining room table together. Because I'm a textile type of man. What was that? Not textile. Dictal. He's a dictal, not a dictal. What's that word? Tactile. I'm a tactile. I have to put my hands on. I don't read charts or instructions. I'm a tactile. Imagine Michael Thomas Fazio being only a tactile person trying to take a CSD off the front of a 9-cylinder reciprocating engine and then changing the springs on a CSD on an antique 9-cylinder reciprocating engine. Or he's a tactile person. Yeah, that tactile stuff is going to go right out the window when you take the CSD off the front of the engine and all that stuff falls out of the gearbox. Tactile nothing. You better get out a pair of micrometers and start measuring stuff. I'm a tactile person. I don't read instructions. I'm a tactile person. Oh yeah, tactile, like you had to hire somebody to put up shelves in your closet. Real tactile you are, really tactile. You're a tactile guy. Jack Thompson. Hi to Strong Cog, you will never be welcome on my page, you low-class individual. Never will you ever come on my page. Ever. We're going to fix that right now. You are one of the more worthless people, bloggers on YouTube, in my opinion. Okay, where is his page? I'm waiting for this to come up. You just reading the comments that you leave on people's pages lowers people's IQs. You have no videos, no channels. You joined. Look at this. This is a worthless blogger. Barry in America. Okay, joined October 9th, 2023. Let's go right here. Okay, you've been hidden on my channel. Okay, thank you. Somebody hit him. Thank you. Okay, Jack Thompson, bubble up, brother. Bubble up, brother. Hey, Jack. So I did call you again, Jack, but you didn't answer the phone. Oh, so I think I'm gonna end this stream, and I think I'm gonna extend my eating of the... I think what I'm going to do, not today, maybe tomorrow or the next day. I have enough for today and tomorrow. I think I'll just relax for the rest of the day. I had a good day today, thank you. I think I'm going to get some bok choy. Bok choy, because I want to try some bok choy and garlic. That stuff's only 100 calories for 4 ounces. I think I'm going to... I've enjoyed eating for the last 7 days. A rainy day nap. It could be. I mean, it's raining like you wouldn't believe. It's been raining a lot. The last 3 days, it's been raining almost all day. Every day. And it was raining, oh God, last night we were getting the thunderclappers. Okay, so where I am, and when I look out across the water, there are lightning and thunderstorms that occur on the mountain range that's 17 kilometers from where I'm sitting, somewhere like that. And the lightning and the thunder boomers happen in the mountains when the air crashes down onto the ocean, or vice versa, however. And the lightning will strike, and then you can count, and then the thunder will hit minutes later, because 17 miles, if you divided 17 miles by 700 feet a second, you'd have to take 17 miles times 5,000. So that would be 85,000 feet. Sound travels at 700 feet a second. So 100 seconds would bring sound 7,000 feet. And then 10 more seconds would bring it 700 feet. And then 10 more seconds after that. So it would be 120 seconds after the lightning strikes. But then the thunders were coming, the rumbling from the thunder was happening for 30 and 40 seconds, like that. But it takes 120 seconds. That's how I know how far the lightning is away. You could do it by simple math. I mean, I do that kind of math in my head. It's a rough estimate. So it's 120 seconds would be about 84,000 feet. And so 84,000 feet is 17 miles. That's how so anyway, that's how you figure out where thunder and lightning is. But people that have never delved into simple math, and that is simple math too. It's not rocket, not brain science. Brain's a moron. Anyway, all right, so what I'm going to do now is I'll thank everybody for stopping by, and then I'm going to take... Oh, you know what I didn't do? God, what am I thinking about? I'm not done yet. I got things that I wanted to talk about in the notes section of my... That's true, DNC. There's always another high... Remember how many I probably blocked? I probably blocked 100 of them years ago. Maybe more. He just kept making face runner. Yeah, okay. So I have things in my I wanted to talk about Donald Trump and Israel. All right, so Donald Trump, I'm going to give you a link. It's a speech that he made yesterday. He is one of those psychopaths. He's a psychopath, narcissistic, and a Satanist for sure. Anybody that will get on his head and bang his knees against the wall in Israel is a Satanist. Take my word on that. Anybody that will get on their knees, head, anybody that will get on their head and bang their knees against the wall in Israel is a Satanist. So he has got a new pair of knee pads. So he blamed, Donald Trump, the bum. I think he should be put in jail for 1,000,000 years, Donald Trump. Let's not make any mistake about this. He caused the lockdown. He allowed it to happen. He blamed every single person in Congress and the Senate and the Democrats for the lockdown and causing him to be in court now, except Fauci. For 2 hours, he pontificated who was at fault. Biden is at fault for the oil pipeline being blown up. Biden is the person behind the bear flu. Biden is the one that's causing prices for $8 for gasoline. Biden never mentioned Biden's son, never mentioned Fauci, Anthony Fauci, never. But he said that Biden caused COVID. He said that in that speech. It wasn't him. It wasn't the 2017 speech that Fauci gave in 2017. It wasn't the memorandum that Fauci gave Trump saying that there's going to be a medical emergency. It was none of that. It was Biden. 6 months after the fact that Trump allowed that all to take place. So anybody that gets on their head and bangs their knees against the wall in Israel hell is part of the problem and not the solution. But he will be president, barring some, catastrophic disaster to him. But he will be president, and you people are about to pay Israel $200 billion. You're about to take another $200 billion and probably a lot more than that out of your pocket. And the death toll that's going on in that war that's taking place now, I don't know how many, but I would say at the end of the day, 50,000. That's my estimate. Now, I don't know if I'm right or wrong about that. But that guy, Mr. Yahoo, is not going to stop. He's got everybody on his side in Congress and the Senate. He's not going to stop. But there's also the probability, Scott Del Fuego pointed out, and also what Trump does not talk about, Scott pointed it out, but I did see some videos on this, is that the Arab nation, Iran, or one of those, I'm not real sure about what the name of the countries are over there. They may very well not want that to happen to what is it called, Hezbollah, Hamas, and it could escalate into something more. They don't care how much more it escalates. Trump don't care. The Senate don't care. Congress don't care. The warmongers don't care. AOC doesn't care. None of those warmongers care. It's just more money in their bank account at the end of the day. But I would estimate if it goes to where there is more of a backlash of what's going on, 50,000 people dead on both sides in 6 months. It's going to happen fast. It's already up to well over 3,000, 4,000 people, and it's only 1 day old. They say 1,900 people. That's 1,900 that they found bodies for. What about all the people that are in the buildings that are missing? Anyway, that's one thing I wanted to talk about. I estimate 200 billion and 50,000 dead. 6 months. They already, and what they did, and with full abandonment from Trump. No, go ahead. They shut off the power, which is the electric and the water, and food supply and fuel supply to Hamas. And everybody's okay with that. Starving the women and children and elderly. They're all okay with that. They're all okay with that. This is truly going to be a lot bigger than most people comprehend, or most people want to believe that it is. That guy re-enlisted in the service, Mr. Netanyahu, re-enlisted in the service, and now he's controlling the narrative. And he wanted to wipe out an entire species of people years ago. And there's also thousands and thousands of people revolting against the Israeli government. And you're not really hearing much about that. They'll give you, a 35-minute news article, and this is what they're doing. And you people need to pay attention to this. They took a building in Israel. They took a building, and they zoomed in on the building. And then they backed off the building, panned in, panned out. And at the bottom of the building, there was a hole in the building where you could clearly see a missile hit the building. Just one building, though. And then they went up on the building and they showed you the devastation from the missile. Then they zoomed in on a broken window, a handrail, like the glass that you see next to an escalator, the handrail glass. And they zoomed in on that. And then they zoomed back out. Then they zoomed back in on the missile hole. Then they zoomed back out. Then they zoomed back up. And all the while they're talking about the devastation that Hamas caused in Israel. But they only showed you one building, one attack. And they're making that sound like it's the end of the world. Now, it could be more buildings, could be many. And also, how did the Iron Dome, a flawless system, how did that get turned off? Why didn't it work? Well, nobody would ever believe that it was flawless. They said it was inundated with thousands of missiles. That's possible. Anyway, Trump is on his head, banging his knees against the wall in Israel. And all right, let's take a look at that. Jack, Trump is an Israel firster, Jack. He's not. Look, man, you can believe he is just. Trump is as evil as any other president has ever claimed to be or been accused of being evil. He allowed the world to get shut down knowing that it was a false flag operation. He shut the world down and usurped 30% of the entire middle class economy out of the world. Okay? He should be put in jail for 1,000,000 years. You defend Trump all you want, and your defense of Trump, what has that brought you? No intelligent person is going to take your side and not say that Trump is the lesser of two evils. He might be the lesser of two evils, but he is evil. Well, there's no doubt about that. Hold on a minute. I have to go. I lost where I am in the chat. Now I lost the chat altogether. How do I get that back? Here, show chat. Okay. You defend Trump all you want, Jack. You're going straight to hell for that. You know that, and I know that. You're going to go straight to hell. Okay, now let's go back over here and get back onto the comments. All right, Face Runner, I'm looking at your comments. I don't understand. Oh, Face Runner, I'm with Roger Waters on that. You know who Roger Waters is. I'm 100% on Roger Waters. I know everything that they did. I know everything they did. I know what they did. I'm not agreeing with them at all. I'm just telling you that Trump is on their side. I'm Roger Waters. Look at how they've destroyed Roger Waters. Roger Waters is right, and they have tried to destroy him in oh so many ways. I'm with you, dude. Don't ever make the mistake to think that I'm on that other side. Roger Waters is the man, and you're the man, Face Runner. You're the man. I agree with you. I have no problem with what you said. I don't know. I should find Bahrain on the map. Hint, it's near Jordan. Well, remember, Face Runner, you think I'm kidding you. Okay, I'm not kidding you about this. Remember the Animals album by Pink Floyd, if you're that old. Remember, Roger Waters said, I looked over Jordan and I seen things are not what they seem to be. There has always been that problem in Jordan, looming over the heads of those people from the great state of Israel. Okay, the great state of Israel. There has always been that threat over them. And that's because the world, that part of the world, that nature of those people is evil in and of itself. You think I like Netanyahu? I don't like Mr. Yahoo at all. But he is in control, and he has our Congress in control, and he has our Senate in control. And he would not think twice of bringing America into this in every way possible, shape, or form. That's why I say it's going to get worse. Big time worse. Hey, Jack. Yeah, well, he's off on another rant right now. I just seen it in the. I seen it flash on my screen. I don't know anything about that, Face Runner. I just told you I agree with you, and and you're saying if it offends you, so be it. What is your problem? What part of English do you not understand? Okay, my next topic is there was one more. John Blaze. I wanted to post this. You guys need to go check out this link. I'll show it to you, but I won't play it because it would get a copyright strike. Captain Kirk. If I told you I agree with Roger Waters, that means I agree with you. Face Runner. All right, so you click this video link and go to 636 in the video link, and I'll show it to you now anyway. I gotta close some windows down. Hold on. Oh, he doesn't like being called satanic. Ah. Well, then don't do satanic shit if you don't like being called satanic. There's another part that I have to post in my... Well, I can't read it because it's too small. All right, let me give me a moment here. Okay, I'm going to post part 2. And I'll read it. Oh no, that's the same as part 1. Part 2. Hold on a minute. There's okay. It'll be posted in the comments. This stuff here, method 2. Okay, so there's 2 methods that they use to determine the satanic nature of psychopaths and NPD type 3 personalities. And the second method is this one here. The sample was somewhat skewed towards above average educational attainments because such research required an adequate literacy of the respondents. So in other words, more intelligent people were examined during the second, finding out the nature of the satanic aspect of a person's psychopath. In other words, they were smarter psychopaths, but still psychopaths. This research report is part of a much larger investigation from the field of political science, sociology, psychology, and psychiatry, carried out in late autumn of 2013. The self-report questionnaires consisting of 500 manifest variables were administered to respondents in their own homes by interviewers. The respondents were asked to fill in the questionnaires by themselves. Okay, so that was just the second way without actual physical studying of the people. So they were questionnaires, so people could research it. It wasn't just the people being researched themselves. So let's see what the... let me shut down another window. I still haven't gotten to where... Okay, I could close this do as thou wilt thing down because... Oh, Aleister Crowley. Let's get... This is the father of all Satanists, Aleister Crowley. This is where they all... this is the Illuminati, the Knights, not the Knights Templar, the ones that were in the Northern California. So let's read a little bit more about this. Aleister Crowley was a groundbreaking poet and an iconologist, visionary whose literary and cultural legacy extends far beyond the limits and notoriety of practitioner of the occult arts. So in other words, he was really good at this. Born in 1875 to devout Christian parents, young Aleister's devotion scarcely outlived his father, who died when the boy was 12. He reached maturity in the boarding schools and brothels of Victorian England. So he was brought up with prostitution and brothels, trained to become a world-class mountaineer, and seldom persisted with any endeavor in which he could be bested. So in other words, if anybody was better at him at doing something, he quit. Like many self-styled Illuminati of his class, Illuminati necessarily meaning intellectual, the hedonistic, like many self-styled Illuminati of his class and generation, the hedonistic Crowley gravitated towards the occult. Okay, so I'm not going to read all of this, but I'll give this to you and the link. I'll put it in the details of my description box. No, I went over 5,000 characters. 6,400. We'll just I need to take 1,000 characters. Here we go. Like many. Well, you know what? That's pretty much the whole thing. I need to take out 1,100 calories. How one man devoted his life to subversion of the dominant moral and religious values of his time. All right. How do I get rid of 1,000 characters? There's 100. Okay. I'm trying to leave you guys the best part. Not that anybody reads this stuff. Crowley developed his own school of mysticism, magic, M-A-G-I-C-K. As he called it, summoned its users to embrace the imagination and to glorify the will. He was a drug addict, and drug saturation vision quests and rampant sexual adventurism. Get rid of that. It's not part of anything I'm interested in. All right, still got 800 to go. I better start removing stuff. Huh. I don't want to remove any of this. I think I'll remove this. I think that's 500 right there. So where are we here? I think I'll remove the method too. That should give me my 1,000 characters. Yep, it did. Okay. Should be about 4,800. 4,500. That was all junk anyway. You could read the... I'll give you the link. You read it yourself. Okay, let's get Aleister Crowley's link up here. It's a good read. I read this years ago. I don't know if I read this one. I studied Aleister Crowley's methods and also his viewpoint. Oh, what is this? This is the one with the psychopathy of depression. That one we have the link for already, I think. We're not done yet, though. Okay, we'll save that. Now we're going to go, okay, okay. John Blaze, he made a video today. We'll get that out there. That's going to be in the, yeah, okay, so let's go here. The Psychopathy and Depression, that was the first one at the top, right? Yeah. Okay, let's get that in there. Psychopathy and Depression, we have that link. We can eliminate that. This is it. I gotta mute this. Okay. This is it. I gotta mute this. Okay, Face Runner, hold on, I'll read the comments in a moment. It doesn't matter whether they read it or not, it's there for their benefit. I'm reading it, Jack. The world is like, well, only one or two people may ever learn anything from all of this. We already know that it's all true because everything I said, I proved. Scott Del Fuego with, wow, there's some thought in here. The world is like a building on fire that has the entrances closed and is starving for oxygen, a vacuum, so to speak. One of the wars popping up will the one that opens a vent and causes the backdraft. I gotta tell you, man, it's what everybody said is gonna happen. Even on its face, no reference to Face Runner. It's way worse than what people believe it to be. The evil that's going on in that part of the world. Because of the evil that's been going on in that part of the world. There's a lot of evil. Face Runner. Orion's arms, a special relativity of envelope travel, or sections of, well, this guy, he sounds a lot like Michael Fazio, when Fazio's talking about that stuff, but this guy might even be real. Orion's arms and special relativity of envelope travel, or sections of EN32 space-time is a real scratcher of the head, a real head scratch. Ooh. Wow. When elements become absolute everything, well, that would be moving into a state of enlightenment. All elements would become part of everything, and everything is part of one. I understand exactly what you're trying to say, which was explained by Minkowski. Wow, Minkowski. He was a very great philosopher. You guys don't know that this guy Face Runner he's talking the real deal now. Face Runner is. How come I can't get this thing to? I can't get it. Oh, Minkowski, you people really got to read Minkowski. You too, Jack. You got to read this. This guy Minkowski, he's a great, very, very great philosopher and theologian. I know that Face Runner would never make this stuff up. Herman Manowski, and I actually remember reading about him from about 200 years ago, actually. What is Manowski known for? He laid the foundation of theory of relativity. That's why I remember him. That's right, space-time. Was Manowski Einstein's teacher? He was that's why. He was his mathematics professor. This stuff is way too deep, Face Runner. I remember reading about this guy years ago because I read about Einstein, and I remember reading Manowski. That's why I knew you weren't kidding around. I forgot exactly what he did, but we'll get the link up there for you if you want to do that. Face Runner was giving you guys legitimate information, but this stuff is first of all, Einstein's theory of relativity, no matter how he figured it out, it's completely flawed. And it's not accurate any longer. So, in that sense, no matter what Manowski was known for, it has nothing to do with current reality. But I'm going to post it. Anyway. I don't know that I'm going to be able to fit it. Oh yeah, it fit. Okay. Okay. All right, Face Runner, thank you. I remember reading about him. Yeah, he was a genius, but Einstein's theory of relativity is completely flawed. If you knew what I was talking about, then you would understand that it's flawed. And everybody knows it's flawed, but they don't want to retract it because it screws up so many other things in physics. It screws up the basic fundamentals of physics in general. Time travel is very real, I believe you. DNC spent 5 years in prison. No wonder he's so smart. Einstein knew he wasn't absolute. He left science untapped for the future generations. Of course he knew. It was his best guess. And it was a good guess, too. And a lot of other stuff that went with the theory of relativity actually works out to some degree. But it's going to be completely proven false when they decide to admit that it's not right. DNC, now we're getting back to some truth. I've been watching stories about near-death experiences recently. They all speak of enlightenment and oneness. Yeah, but DNC, I can vouch that it does happen at near-death. I can vouch for that. It happened to me. But in the same regard, I know somebody that recently died several times and had no afterlife experience at all. I don't even know how many people are on the channel right now. 18, there were 24 before. Flawed was the purpose. Well, I don't know what I would have loved to have talked to Einstein. I probably could have helped him out with that theory of relativity, but I didn't have the opportunity. Because what DNC was just talking about, right? How do I know Einstein's theory of relativity is flawed? When you have the near-death experience or you become enlightened, illuminated, enlightened, Buddha consciousness, Christ consciousness, you can think of somebody like Albert Einstein, and then you can think of Einstein's theory of relativity. And then you would say to yourself, I'd like to understand Einstein's theory of relativity. And when you think about it, you're going to realize that it's flawed. You may not know why, but you'll know it's not accurate. Now, could I argue with him at the age of 17 years old? No, but I knew his theory of relativity was flawed when I was 17. And now it's coming out 30, 40, 50 years later that his equations don't add up to be what they're supposed to be. But they can't change it now. Now, could I have argued the point 30, 40 years ago, 50? I can't. I couldn't argue that point. But I knew it was flawed back then. How could I prove that I know what I know? If I know what I know what I know. It's like when I proved the guy's a liar because I know what he said and I know what he said that I should prove that what he said is false. And when I proved what he said is false, the people still took his side because he's the guy with the money. But when I'm telling you that I know what I know about near-death experiences and enlightenment, and that nutcase who's closer to an NP3 personality disorder, he doesn't even understand simple words in the English language. King Solomon, he doesn't understand what King Solomon had. King Solomon was the king. He had 800 of those things. Okay? He doesn't understand that nobody said anything bad. His lack of understanding of the simple understanding of the English language that caused them to have a meltdown. And then did he apologize? No. He just melted down, moved on to his next subject. Imbalance. Now I feel like a nerd. Yeah, right? LOL, the nerd. There was an article in the Republican paper era of 53, 54, after Pennsylvania Project, Manhattan Project. Tesla, Minowski's Butte's lab in western Illinois, before the Hiroshima disaster, the Sentinels knew. All right, these people don't even know what a sentinel is, so let's give them that anyway. I know what a sentinel is. A watcher, somebody like the lions in front of Congress. They're kind of like a sentinel. All right, let's get this up on the board here. Sentinel, the people, they're guardians. Sentinel. In Battlestar Galactica, the Sentinels. The Sentinels of Light. That's a good place to start. They're an ancient sacred order that can be traced back to the origin of the Blessed Isabels, the Isles, where the black mist originated, and defend. Well, these sentinels, so he's talking about sentinels in the spiritual aspect. And that's the way he wrote it that's the way Face Runner wrote it in the comments section. I agree with that. The sentinels are the guardians. They're light. They're an order of light. Let's go back here. I'll give you that. Do I have lizards? Yes, I have lots of lizards. What happened to my... I keep copying this stuff and it just doesn't paste. off on a tangent. It's okay. There's nothing sinister. It's interesting. I mean, I got the blah, blah, blah for 2.5 hours. You might as well get your shot at this as well. Come on. Pop on there. You're welcome. Okay? But these people, you know, Face Runner, by you saying the word sentinel, most of these people don't even know what a sentinel is. It's a good learning. They should learn a little bit from your knowledge and other people's knowledge. A sentinel, they look at it as a word. It's a word. Oh, sentinel. But what you're talking about are spiritual sentinels. You're talking about angels of light. They don't know what that means. But they should look it up. And if they watch my video and they come to the conclusion that there's some interesting things in what I say, everything I said about psychopathy, psychopaths, NP3, the personality disorders, and or witchcraft, and everything I said, satanic in nature, I all proved it with people that study this stuff for years and come out with the words for the books. I proved it all. But why wouldn't they believe what I say? Because they are the profane. If I said to you, they are the profane, I'm sure you understand what the profane means. But they don't. They're not Masons, number one. They don't understand what the word profane means, number two. And their understanding of profane probably brings them to a barbecue tank, because it sounds like propane, profane. That's how stupid some of these people are in real life. The profane. What is the profane? Oh, it's like propane. I would believe that some people believe that profane and propane are almost the same thing. Before the Vedas, now the 8 noble truths. Oh, now he's talking about the 8 noble truths. See, I know about the Vedas. I could say the Vedas and look, Face Runner put it on board, right? Look, see the Vedas? See, Face Runner, watch this. See how smart Fazio is the Vedas, right? Vedas. And what did I say right after I saw the word Vedas? The 8 noble truths. There's probably 2 people of all the people that are subscribed to my channel that know about the Vedas and the 8 noble truths. And I am one of them. Okay? The 8 noble truths of Buddhism. Why would I know that? Why would people not believe that I have this knowledge base? Why would, after I prove it to you? Of course, it's the Eightfold Path. But all I heard was the word Vedas. And I know exactly what it is that he's trying to say. The 8 noble truths of Buddhism. The Eightfold Path. We had to, the Upanishads and the Vedas. To read that, I read all of the Upanishads. I read all of the Vedas. I studied the Upanishads and the Vedas and the 8 noble truths. We had to do that. It was part of our learning experience. So, how many other people could go from the word Vedas to the 8 noble truths without looking it up? On my show, nobody. Nobody. Maybe you, because you mentioned Vedas. Could Jack Thompson? Probably not. Scott, no, for sure. None of these people studied Eastern theology or philosophies. Therefore, they wouldn't know that the Vedas contain the 8 noble truths. So when people they watching me, they think I'm nuts, right? You got that nutcase thinking that I'm nuts because his lack of education puts him at a disadvantage to everybody everywhere in general. He can't even do simple math. So, and he expects people to believe that Michael Fazio's a liar. Michael Fazio lies. What would he put his life's fortune going against me and on intellect? No, he wouldn't. He'd lose instantly. He'd lose. If we said to him, what do the Vedas contain? What are the Upanishads? Who are the Upanishads? What is the Upanishad? He would not know. He wouldn't know that the Vedas contain the 8 Noble Truths. He has no understanding of that kind of stuff. None whatsoever. Not a smart person. Anyway, let's go back over here. I could post, what was I going to post? So you people, oh yeah, Fazio's making all this stuff up. So I made up the guests to read the word Veda, and then I made up the 8 Noble Truths, and then there they are. The 8 Noble Truths are within the Vedas. I made that up, right? Because I'm stupid, right? Because I'm a liar, right? Because you people are stupid, you believe that kind of stuff. Not me. Don't blame me for your ignorance. Don't blame me because you spent your whole life partying in bars and smoking cigarettes and all that other crap. Jack, Jack is being really, some of us know. Okay, Jack, you know. Jack knows. Jack is a really smart man, but he doesn't know about the Vedas. Okay, let's not. Let's call a non-Veda Spada non-Veda. So, and now we're at full circle. And I bet you that fool that calls Fazio a liar doesn't even know who the Bodhisattva was. Okay, so let's get. I'll just put the link over there. I'm not really going to get involved with the 8 Noble Truths. The 8 Noble Truths, Truths, truths. That's how you say truths. The 8 Noble Truths are really not that important to my flock, my fan club here. The 8 Noble Truths. You start talking about the 8 Noble Truths to these people, I'll lose them all. I'll lose them all. I'll lose all the people that are watching. Jack is very smart, but I would bet big money right from the get-go that Jack does not know about the Vedas, the Upanishads, or what the 8 Noble Truths are. And that's okay, Jack. It gives you something to read at the end of the day. Uh-oh. Okay. A serpentine delta. Jack might know what a serpentine is, but not much more than that. Okay, so we're going to have to stop posting stuff inside my description. But my description box runneth over. Now let's go back over to the video. Zest Fest. I still the snorks and dream of tube on my head. Face runner drop some of that lysergic dichromide. That's for sure. Oh, let's see what we got here. I think we're done. Now, I think we're done. Most of my friends went to sleep. 17 watch it. Yeah, so you people watch, go back and rewind it, and watch as soon as I see what the word Vedas. How many? They're probably, of all the people that are in the background, as Captain Billy Jack says, in the background. How many of you have read all of the Upanishads? And somebody, go ahead, somebody throw up on the screen how many pages the Upanishads is, how many words. It's big. It's not small. They would probably think that they're talking about like a definition in Webster's on the 20th unabridged dictionary. It'd take you a year to read the Upanishads and understand 1/10 of it. And that would be with training. Or you could become enlightened and understand what's in the Upanishads without reading it, which is what DNC was talking about. And the numerous, Jack Thompson, the bearer of information. Jack Thompson says, in the numerous phone calls with Mike, I always knew he was one step above, but we kept it comical. There's no reason, only today that I felt like talking about that stuff. But only because that of the people that just disgusted me yesterday on the show, where everybody took the psychopaths' side. And, hey, how you doing? Hello, good evening. And everybody forgave him for what he did to those girls. Everybody forgave him. Everybody. How are you doing today? Thanks for stopping by. Oh, this guy's a good guy. They're brainwashed and they're sucking up to a fraud, a liar, and a deceiver because he's the guy that's dishing out the cash. He must be dishing out a lot of cash. He's not sweeping any my way, though. That is disgusting. All right. Background cowboys. Charlie Delano. I didn't. I don't know what you did not. Didn't know. You didn't read the. No, nobody read the. I'm the only one on this whole entire live stream that read the Upanishads and the Vedas. I'm the only person. Take my word for it. I could look it up for you. Then I could prove to you that. But I mean, it would take you months to read the Upanishads. You could read it. You could like skim through it. Upanishad. Upanishad. I don't even know how to spell it. Okay, the Upanishads mean. Okay, here we are, right here. Religious. It's a religious text. Okay, we're now. It's in Sanskrit, number one, which I forgot to mention, but it is in Sanskrit. And then it's okay. So okay. So how much is it to read already? I'll give you the link. It's the Upanishad. Now, did I know this information too? Of course I knew it. What did I say? It would take you months to read the. I read the Upanishads, and not only that, I read it more than once. What did I say? It would take months to read the Upanishads, right? It came in it was distributed to us. It was about 3/4 of an inch thick with small little tiny letters and words on 8.5 by 11.5 inch legal paper. And on a brownish page with a bluish, grayish color text. And it took months to read it. And I read it because I was supposed to read it. I don't remember any of it, but I read it. At the time, it helped me move into a state of enlightenment. Maybe not. Maybe it stopped me for a few weeks. But the Upanishads are a collection of over 200 texts. 200 texts written between 800 and 500 BC. But originally, the ideas in the Upanishads were passed down through spoken word. These Sanskrit teachings break away from the Vedic religion that came before them, that puts an emphasis on ritual and ceremony. So was I right about them taking months to read? Well, I mean, you could probably read it, but when it says 200 texts, it doesn't mean 200 pages of text. It means 200 different books of texts. Text is the book, a word for a book. Its text could mean one thing, one sentence, one paragraph, but texts written in that tense of the word means a book. I know you don't believe me, so let's just prove that too. Okay, let's go over here. Let's write down the word text. Text sheet, text group, text meaning a book or other written printed work regarded in terms of its content rather than its physical form. A text that explores pain and grief. And isn't that where we started? A book. So Fazio, meaning, understanding, description of the word text. For you, it would mean a sentence. For an educated person, it could be a sentence, a word, a paragraph, or a book. In the usage of the Upanishads, is a collection of 200 texts. It's written, by definition, any intelligent person would immediately understand it was 200 books, not 200 sentences. But we don't have a lot of intelligence going on here. Not a lot. Okay, let's get that. And we're done with this now. Bill Cooper's Behold the Pale Horse. Wow, that's a great book. I love Bill Cooper. Bill Cooper was one of my heroes growing up. Well, yeah, Face Runner. Muhammad had the same knowledge of Christ and Buddha. That's true, Jack. That's true. And I appreciate the fact that you come and keep us company. All right, so let's get this over here. And, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to relax. I'm going to get another glass of water. I got water right here. I have another little bit of water here. I just needed a sip. Yeah. There. All right then, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you. And watch, watch who you call stupid and a liar. It might just backfire. And watch, John Blaze. Oh, we didn't talk about Star Trek. Oh, we forgot to talk about Star Trek. Oh, God. We got to go back to Star Trek. Captain Kirk. That was where it all started this morning at 7 o'clock. The pain. I understand your pain. I forgive you your pain. And what was the reasoning behind that? I don't know. The psychopathy behind that was pretty damn strange, okay? I never did figure that out. But where is it? Where are we here? Oh, 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 I'm right here. There it is, right there. It's on the screen. I'm looking for it, and I'm going, where is it? I know it's on the screen. So right here,